I'm joined again by Brad Langley, our SVP of Americas. Brad, today we're talking about integrations. Big topic. Every single client I speak to, we want to talk about integrations. But why is it such a big factor in event technology at the moment?
So, Matt, there's hardly a day that goes by that an event planner or organizer doesn't say to me, can you integrate with this or that? And you asked the question of why is that so important? It's because let's look at the foundation. Events are about data. It's about capturing data at key touch points throughout the event process from beginning to end, consuming that data, and then populating that data into other critical systems and tools that you have in your company. The better you can do that, the better the event and the impact from that event will have on your driving your business forward. So the challenge for today's event tech, not just planners that use it, but people who create it, is really how can we become a better part of your overall data ecosystem? Because there's not just, I can go to a customer and say, we've got this great end-to-end platform that can really solve many of your challenges around your event solutions. And they're going to say, but Brad, I need that to talk to 4 or 5 other tools in my house. It's not like you're just isolated and that's all we need. We have a lot of other tools that we may use. It may be Tableau, it might be Microsoft Dynamics, it might be a CRM, it might be whatever, it might make microwave cookies. I don't know, but it is not, we are not isolated in our own world. Now, some tech providers try and say, no, the answer to that is you have to use all of our products to solve your problem. And that's not real world.
No.
Real world is the fact that our tool has to be able to talk the same language and be able to communicate and exchange data both ways with these other tools so data flows seamlessly, securely, it's compliant with your corporate needs, then it's usable and insightful, and you can then really draw the results and the ROI of what your event is doing to drive your business.
Do you think, I agree with all of that, but do you think that sometimes people are so obsessed about data being the heart of the event? We hear about it, it becomes everything to these people that are people sometimes forgetting that events are about fun, about connections, about special moments. Perhaps I'm not going to be able to give you the data about that hug that I had when I had met someone that I knew I connected with brilliantly and I was going to work with or collaborate with ongoing. So is data is purely to validate those outcomes, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is. And post-COVID, which seems like centuries ago already, but post-COVID, the expectations for capturing and using data went through the roof because planners and event organizers acknowledge that there's so much more data that gives me insights around the buyer's propensity to buy.
Yeah.
And the profile of what they buy.
Yeah.
You and I as individual consumers today, we can't order something online. We can't go into our favorite Starbucks. We can't go into our favorite grocery store without them pulling up a profile and telling us what we're probably going to buy or want to buy.
Yeah.
And
Insight
that's how
data.
event planners are replicating that experience through personalized event experiences. So the ability to capture data, although I agree, it is all about the personal one-on-one when we're together in an event that I'm sure someday we'll be able to capture that.
Yeah.
But it's about feeding the information in, building this, it's really creating this picture of you through data, through all these other tools, so we get the full picture of your interests, your desires, your expectations, and how they evolve through the event we are hosting or delivering.
Yeah. It's about, I think validation is often, it's that immediate, you know, when you come out of a public, I'm going to use the word bathroom, but I mean, let's call it restroom here because we're in America at the moment. When you
The
leave
water closet.
a water closet, and you leave that place and you've got the smiley faces, and I always think,
Oh, yes.
I don't want to touch them because I don't know if people are washing their hands when they're leaving these
True.
bathrooms, WC, restroom, whatever we're calling it. But it's immediate validation that, oh, that was a happy experience. And we push notifications after sessions with what we call a persistent notification. Yes, I loved that.
Correct.
You know, give that immediate feedback. But I often question how much that information is used. I think when we really get into the nitty gritty of data, and I find this often disappointing, is that it's, did they attend? Who did they meet with? Rather than how they felt. I think that's the important bit. You know, what are they really taking away from this?
That is critically important, no doubt, because that's really the essence of how that event impacted their perception about your product, about your brand, advocacy, etc. The other aspect, though, is taking that data and quickly acting on it. So, for instance, what I've seen from the top 1% of event organizers is they're able to capture that data from our platform, feed it into their, I'll call it their machine.
Yeah.
Which their machine may be 3 or 4 other tools, but immediately act on it. So you've attended a session that morning. By that afternoon, that information has gone out to our field, our field marketing. Our field marketing can act on that, reach out to you with a very personalized email saying, Matt, I understand you met Brad during today's 10 o'clock session. You also express interest in X, Y, and Z. And as a result of that, I'd love to schedule a meeting or send you some information on it. Please find it attached.
Yeah.
Closing the circle and bringing life to the event beyond just that session and really making that attendee feel special, that they were heard.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. It's really important. I mean, that's where the grouping and something, without getting too focused on what we do, but the grouping in our technology is so powerful because we can communicate to a group of individuals that have participated in a specific session. We can connect with them as you know, an external buyer or in whatever capacity, but it's very personalized, isn't it?
And people can belong to multiple groups with our platform.
Yeah.
Because what person do you know that's only one dimensional?
Yeah.
I mean,
I can be Italian, which I'm very much not. Although
accent.
Tom does speak fluent Italian, which is very impressive. Tom is behind the camera today. I could be Italian, but also a commercial director. I can be Italian and also in the evening dinner group going to the fabulous Korean barbecue. So being able to sit independently in different groups is I thought it was a given, Brad, but I'm discovering that it's fairly unique, which is it seems bonkers, but anyway.
It does. And literally the way many tools have been coded and programmed is they put you into one, maybe 2 groups, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that, to me, as I said before, you're not one-dimensional. I'm not one-dimensional. I have depth of interest in different areas to different degrees, and I like to be communicated about those. I like to be exposed from a networking standpoint to the others who share the common interests, and so I can explore and learn from them and network with them and establish a broader community with them than before I attended the event.
Do you know what? Our groups is something that probably would be an event advice session in itself, so we can probably cover that off another time. But back to integrations, it's often a lot more complex than people think. I mean, why is that?
Oh, great question. I've had to explain this to a number of planners because they're like, can't you just flip a switch? Why can't you flip a switch? You're all major software players. So let me try and break it down a little bit. The first thing is it takes 2 technology companies working together and playing well in the sandbox to make that work.
Okay.
That for starters. I mean, we're very open. We love to play with everyone. We will openly exchange data with everyone.
Yeah.
But that's not the case necessarily across the board. So we have to oftentimes convince the other player that this is in their best interest to exchange data seamlessly.
Why are we having to do that dance? It's blimmin' mental. I mean, I may CVent customer just to enable their clients, or sometimes our clients, to leverage their technology. Quite often it's our client who says, we're doing app, we're doing badging with you, but we use CVent for registration, we're happy. And we're like, brilliant, crack on. I have to be a customer.
Well, and that's the thing is many of them, if they're concerned, they may potentially, their customer may like our software better. They're going to charge us for that open access.
Yeah.
Just to exchange the customer's data. We're not exchanging data. We're not looking at their code or anything. We just want to exchange data as a service to our mutual customer.
So I have a customer at the moment and they want to use Splash. They're a customer of ours. They don't use Splash at the moment. They're customers. They want to use Splash. So approached Splash, asked about the integration. It's $18,000. I pay $18,000.
That's more than we're probably charging the customer
it's more
for
than
the
whole
event.
budget.
The whole budget. But that's an example of where there's a barrier to that some technology companies put in front to prevent this easy exchange of data, which is, in my mind, not proper.
But integrations, we can't always assume that we can do the, not end to end, but we can do a vast majority of the event technology journey, from design and setup, implementation of registration, website and ticketing, the on-site arrival, badging, check-in, the lead capture, the data analytics around exhibitor, the meeting matcher, the event app, the virtual platform, the hybrid platform, the data analytics and reporting office. We can cover a large part of this, but we should never be so arrogant to think that someone will want to do all of it with us.
That would be, frankly, it'd almost be egotistical to assume that, because people have prior commitments. They may be locked into a contract.
Yeah.
But that's where at CrowdComms we really do play well in the sandbox. And to back that up, we've actually created an integration hub in our platform where we can spin up integrations quite quickly. And this leads to the next point about why are integrations more difficult. Number one, the other partner has to want to be a partner.
Yeah.
That's number one. Let's say they want to be a partner, or they're at least open to it, even if they may not want to. It comes down to really mapping issues. What's the structure of their data? Do they have the data segregated by first name and last name? Or is that one seamless string where first name and last name is combined? Yeah. And we have to be able to break the data into proper components to accept that data and feed it. So the data structure and the formatting and mapping of that data is important. Why is that important? It's also important from a data security and privacy standpoint.
Yeah.
Because we have to make sure that when we integrate with someone, we maintain the same data security and privacy standards that we uphold for all our customers. So we won't do it, and we won't ever sacrifice that. So we have to make sure that happens.
We're compliant as a global business, because the US has different data legislation, privacy policies than the European data privacy policy. So we have to be compliant globally.
Exactly. And then finally, number one thing for our planners watching this is that's a key decision when you're looking at integrations. How frequently do you want or need that data exchanged between the two partners? If you want to exchange, say, once a day, that's a much lighter lift than if you want it every couple of minutes throughout the entire day, throughout the entire event and everything.
We're requesting that information. It's a big burden on infrastructure.
It's a big burden. You have to be able to constantly be pinging each other.
And it's a cost. It's a cost that sometimes people can't rationalize, but it is a cost for us as an organization to be pulling data in large quantities and regularly and reliably and compliantly.
Exactly, because we have to perform all the same security compliance standards when we're exchanging data once as we are multiple times. So that has to be a consideration. And the planners can help us by saying, look, I only need this as a nightly upload, or I need this every hour, or I may need it during check-in more frequently. So it's But that's one thing about the way we've structured our integration hub is we could tailor your integration needs and really wrap ourselves around you as a customer. And with the frequency, the type of data, the data feed, and it really makes a huge difference because we want to make sure that at the end of the day, we are on your side of the fence, that we understand, we empathize with what you're going through, we understand where this data needs to be fed, how it needs to be consumed and then used and reported on for the event to be considered a success.
It's really important. When you mentioned that hub, when we get a request for an integration, every single one is different. The requirements are different. So we have to have flexibility, which is key. But you get, when you work with us, we do a scoping process. So we scope out your requirements. It has a project manager, it has a developer, and it has the account manager. And they'll join you and scope out those requirements. We then give you an outline of the project and what's required to get to activation of your integration. It's then tested and it's implemented within our kind of reporting and our kind of our testing, penetration testing for the platform to make sure that it's reliable, it's secure and it's compliant, and then it's released for the clients to use. So it's really, really bespoke process.
Well, and that brings up another point that all I can say is shut the door, because it actually is true. We introduced the developer to you during that conversation and scoping.
Yeah.
Like you said, that is unheard of.
Is it?
Oh, that is, they're generally behind the magic curtain. You never talk to them. And what it does is it really enables our developers to get a sense of how they want to build it. Do you need a two-way integration where the information's flowing both ways? Perfect use case. I had a customer recently that wanted a Microsoft Dynamics integration.
Yeah.
Very critically important integration to this customer. Very complex. Microsoft Dynamics is a super product, but it's a sophisticated product that many technologies in the event tech space struggle with doing an integration. I remember I've heard other customers say, oh, that has taken 2 years to put in place.
Wow. Okay.
With us, we were able to spin it up in I believe, just under 30 days, two-way integration, seamlessly connecting the data, flowing into Microsoft Dynamics and back.
Available to all clients.
Available to all clients
In our market.
now.
In our market.
In our market. And you say why? And you just have to go back through the same thing. We address the mapping issues. We address the frequency of data exchange. We address the security and data compliance issues. And we came together with our developers, our project managers, who managed and carried the heavy lifting from beginning to end with that. Our clients also can't be burdened with having to shepherd that entire project.
Yeah.
So we are willing to help you through that integration project. All we ask is from the client side, you bring your technical people to the table. We'll bring our technical, talented experts to the table.
Yeah.
And let them chat, let them talk, let them figure it out. It makes it so much faster than trying to do this all via email or in the dark, in a closet that just doesn't work that way. So literally, Microsoft Dynamics spun up in under a month, ready to go, two-way integration. I challenge anyone to try that anywhere else without CrowdComms Integration Hub and people.
It was a year of developing the integration hub to enable the activation of quick integrations.
Well, that's a well investment is all I can say on CrowdComms' part. And I wasn't here at that time, so I'm grateful that we have that. Now that we have that, it's quite amazing.
So I think it's really important to get the devs straight there on the calls, listening to those client problems direct.
Well, at CrowdComms, I love it because we do that on the front end for integrations, for custom solutions. Also, if there might be a challenge, maybe there's an issue with the Wi-Fi feed on site for something. Instead of constantly going back and forth, we'll bring a dev on the phone then too. with our support person. So our development team is equally, if not more important than everyone else on the team at CrowdComms. They're extremely talented. They're extremely empathetic and understanding for what planners go through. And we expose them to chat, so that we can work in collaboration to solve the problem quickly.
Yeah.
We understand that when things happen on site, and things will happen on site, they always do. I mean, I was an event planner for over 20 years. That's the nature of events. What you need is, it's not as much as often about, is something going to go wrong or something that needs tweaking? It's about how fast you can respond, how fast you can bring the right talent to the table to solve it quickly.
Yeah.
So that that experience is maintained for the attendee, for the stakeholders at that event.
Perfect. Look, we could talk about integrations for 3 weeks and still not cover it. But thank you so much for your time. Key takeaways are: listen to your clients, get the right people on the call so you understand their problems. It sounds so simple, doesn't it?
It does. It's common sense.
Yeah, present a solution that everyone understands, provide timelines to activate, and then to activate with precision and integrity, which I know that we're doing incredibly well. Thank you so much for watching Event Advice once again. Please subscribe at the bottom. We've got a growing community we're really proud of. Thank you so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you soon.